Hello and welcome to the Academy of Modern Martial Arts and our step-by-step Tai Chi instruction. Today I have the pleasure of taking you through movement number 16, Blue Dragon Waves Its Tail, or Snake Creeps Down the Mountain and Golden Rooster Stands on one leg, or Low Single Whip. Either way you look at it, it has many names, which is fitting because it's one of the most complex movements in the form, and it probably is the most demanding of one's athleticism and flexibility and strength within their legs. So although there are versions of this that go quite low, they can be quite taxing on the body. So today we're going to look at sort of a easy to intermediate version, both to make it easy to follow and to ensure that we're all taking good care of our knees and our legs in the process. So looking at where we last left off, and we'll do it from this particular side, we had gone from as if double punching the head to rocking over and transitioning the weight onto that right leg. So we pick up that left knee, we extend outward for the left heel kick, we bring it all back in, and here's where we place that toe on the ground as the hands rotate through, the right hand taking that single whip and the left hand gently pointing at it. From here, you'll see a lot of different things for this movement. However, what they all have in common is that this left leg has to go not only behind us, but over to our left. It's imperative that we don't just step out in a line, or when we turn, we're going to find that we're on a tightrope. And as we know in Tai Chi, we want to have width and depth to our stance. So from this particular movement, we're going to bring the left leg diagonally back behind us. Again, you'll see people that talk about placing your toe there. You'll see people that talk about reaching back with your heel. For ease sake, it is easiest to reach back with the toe or the ball of your foot and then gently allow yourself down onto the foot. For accentuating the strength and the balance, however, it's it requires more balance and more flexibility to pull the toes up and set the heel back behind you. Either way you want to do it is fine. Less important than getting caught up in the details is just paying attention to the fact that we are essentially lowering ourselves down on the support leg because, again, this left leg can only go back as far as we are able to go low. So if we're not feeling very strong today or our leg's not in good shape, we're going to find that we barely maintain some bend in this leg. And when we bring that left foot back, it's not a super deep stance. We'd like to bring it back as far as possible. However, we don't want to do that at the expense of your posture. Some people find it much easier. We could offload our balance again forward, as we know, and then we could step out this way. However, when our spine goes through such a great permutation, it can be difficult. We increase the likelihood of risk, to say the least. So from here, weights on the right, we're going to relax and we're going to sink down just enough. How low can you sink? So let's just practice that part. We're on the left leg, or the right leg, excuse me. We sink back and send the right heel over. At its simplest, we're really just going to turn through, and we're going to end up in now a bow stance or an elongated lunge to our left. So again, here we are on the right leg. Right hand's in the crane's beak, left hand is pointing at it. We're going to relax and sink down over that right leg until we've achieved the depth that we're comfortable with, and we're going to extend that left heel out behind us. We're going to begin the process of turning, pointing that left hand through the foot and up, and we're going to raise, we're going to come up, we're going to raise with the thumb side, allowing the thumb side of the wrist to be a little bit higher as the fingers are pointed slightly down, and the crane's beak that was pointed at the ground here ends up rotating through and pointing up in this position here. From here, we're going to begin the process of getting our hips from where they are in the center all the way over the left leg. So in order to do that, we're going to begin by pushing through the right foot and then even through the right toe to begin moving hips from all the way in the center to on top of that left leg. As that's happening, we're going to relax through the heel of the hand and we're going to draw the back of the right wrist up and use that to help draw that leg and help us sort of pivot around the axis of our hips. So one more time. We're here, weight is on the right leg, left ball of foot, toes are on the floor, right hand's in the crane's beak. We're going to sink through, turn the hips, transition and move the hips over that left leg, and draw the right knee upward, balancing on the center of the leg. So as we begin the process of lowering ourselves down on that right leg, let's examine the role that the hands play in counterbalancing the leg. Again, as we begin the process of sending that left foot back behind us, if we stayed in the center and we sent the left leg back, we would simply end up falling back. So the process of bringing the left leg diagonally back behind us has to have some sort of counterweight to keep us centered over that support leg. Now, the natural tendency will be to lean forward and again, take what we would like to keep as an upright torso. We could pitch that forward and we could easily balance that left leg going back behind us. But if we're going to do our best to keep that torso upright, it is the hands that are going to counterbalance that left leg going back. So from setting that foot down and beginning the process of rotating into that crane's beak and looking at it, as these go out, this little bit of motion with the hands coming out diagonally toward your right, that bit of motion and weight is going to counterbalance that left leg going back, and it's going to assist us in staying as upright as possible. From here, we're going to turn, and we're going to bring that left hand pointed toward the left foot, and then we're going to bring it back up. And at the tail end of this movement, we're going to tilt the fingers down or lift up and rotate out of the top of the thumb side of the wrist. And that is half of our movement. The other half is now golden rooster stands on one leg, in which case, again, we find our weight centered, and we're going to have to get our weight all the way over this front leg, the left leg in this particular case. So we're going to use the foot to push our hips forward, and then even if you can, use your right toe to push your hips even further forward. At this point, the hip should be close enough to being over the left leg that the process of swinging what should be an empty right leg up is relatively simple, and we can stabilize over that left leg in golden rooster stands on one leg. Now, the important thing is that for the most part, we would like to preserve your center so that we go from being centered over the right leg, we're essentially centered here over the right, we're going to sink, drop, rotate through, and then move our center over that left leg. In an ideal situation, we would like to minimize how far up we come, because the tendency, especially when we get over here and golden rooster stands on one leg, the tendency will be to bring the hips over here and then stand up to relieve the pressure, the muscular pressure on this leg. And if we raise up and lock this leg to relieve the muscular pressure, we're loading the skeletal system, and that's not what we want to do. We want to keep softness in that knee, and we want to allow our muscles to activate and keep us here. And so the best way to do that is to be super conscious of what we're doing with our midriff and our hips and our center. So we're here, we're low, we're going to draw through the middle, we're going to use the right foot to push it over the left, and we're going to pull everything toward the center. So use your abdomen to pull the leg up, crunch the elbow toward the knee, and stabilize on top of that left leg. And we end with golden rooster stands on one leg. Just like some of the other movements in the 24 movement form, there's a nice balance and symmetry between this particular movement and the following movement, as we're essentially repeating it on the other side of the body. So we'll go ahead and take a brief look at that, beginning with being on the right leg. Empty left leg heads out. We shift our weight through the middle, over the left, on top of the left. From here, we extend the heel to the floor. In the time it takes to rock forward, we come out of the left heel. We move back onto the left. We send the empty right backward and counterbalance to what's happening with the hands. We turn over through the center onto the right leg, and we crunch and contract into Golden Rooster Stands on the right leg. Once again, thank you for joining us for movement number 16 of the 24 movement form. We hope that you enjoyed yourself, found something valuable, and we look forward to seeing you when next we get to see you. Take care.